Once again, my greetings to all of you. I hope you all are doing fine. In our previous videos, we have discussed about the Old English language, and I told you that it is very important for us to understand the Old English language properly in order to understand the Middle English language. The philologists have divided the Middle English period in three sub-periods. The period from 1100 to 1250 has been called as Early Middle English period. The period from 1250 to 1400 has been called as the Ordinary Middle English period, and the period from 1400 to 1500 has been considered as the Late Middle English period. To properly understand the Middle English period, we will study the period under two different headings. Number one, the factors responsible for the dominance of French and the neglect of English language in England until about the end of the 13th century. And second, the factors leading to a patriotic revival of interest in English language during the second half of the Middle English period. It cannot be denied that from the time immemorial, battles have been an inevitable part of human history. As it is said that battles are never won. Battles only brings the losses. The medieval period in particular was full of battles all over the world. Kings and queens fought battles to satisfy their ambitions, and the soldiers were killed in large numbers. One of the two kings participating in the battles either died or surrendered to the other king. One of the kingdom was enlarged, and obviously other lost everything. These battles actually determined the fates of royal dynasties and often led to drastic changes in the socio-economic condition of the people. One of the battles occurred in the year 1066 AD. The battle which we know as the Battle of Hastings. The Battle of Hastings was fought between the Norman French army of William the Duke of Normandy and an English army under the Anglo-Saxon king Harold Godwinson, beginning the Norman conquest of England. King Harold, who was defeated in the battle, was a typical Englishman, and his mother tongue was English language. After gaining the victory in the battle, William ordered his army to plunder and burn the southeast of England. Demoralized by Harold's death and defeat in the battlefield, the English people realized that the best thing for them was to accept William as the King of England, and on the Christmas day in 1066, William the Duke of Normandy was crowned King of England. With William as the King of England, the linguistic situation in England took a sudden and drastic turn. The only language that William knew was French. After his coronation, he made some attempts to learn English, but he could not find time for it. He wanted to consolidate his position as king in the country hostile to him, and so he devoted all his time to take steps necessary for him to strengthen his position among the nobles, in the churches, in the army, and all other corridors of power in the country. He was not a man of scholastic interests and had no aptitude for learning new languages quickly. So he decided to manage with the help of interpreters. His strategy for strengthening his position was to fill all positions of power in his kingdom with French speaking people from Normandy. Some of the people in his Norman army were hired mercenaries. He rewarded them with gold and silver and sent them back to Normandy. He allotted large tracts of land to the remaining persons in his army, his strategy being to get them established as permanent sources of strength for himself. William was the first king of England to stress the fact that by right all land was the king's land and that land was held by others only as his gift and in return for specified service. William filled almost all the positions, or to be specific, all the important positions with the Normans. William's sons, grandsons, and great grandsons continued the process started by him, and for more than 200 years. After the Norman conquest, the king's court continued to be a stronghold of the French language. William and similarly many of his children and grandchildren had a greater sense of identity with Normandy than with England. Initially, the invasions of England by Anglo-Saxons and similarly the invasions by the Vikings discussed in the previous videos were by violent plunderers, but later they turned into mass scale immigrations made effective on the basis of fierce battles. The Norman conquerors, however, did not want to migrate to England. They wanted to be rulers. With a base in Normandy in France, they ruled over England as a matter of right bestowed on them by William's conquest in the Battle of Hastings. Their refusal to become one with the people of England can be deduced from the fact that for as many as 11 generations after William the Conqueror, the kings of Norman dynasty continued to speak French as their mother tongue. Henry IV was the first king of the Norman dynasty who spoke English as his mother tongue. For about 300 years, these kings had most of their official transactions in French, and many of the members of the royal family knew so little of English that even after generations of Norman rule in England, they needed interpreters to communicate with those people who spoke in English. It is known, for example, that although Henry II understood English, he lacked the ability to speak it. His wife, Eleanor of Aquitaine, did not know a word of English and always needed an interpreter. when someone spoke to her in English. From the time of the Norman conquest in 1066 until about 1204, when Normandy was taken over by King of France, whoever was the king of England was automatically the Duke of Normandy as well. Whoever was the king of England was the Duke of Normandy as well. For about 400 years, of all kings, the Normans' descent, except Henry I, sought a wife in France. As the Norman kings had a sense of national identity with France and with Normandy in particular. Another language that enjoyed a privileged status during the Middle English period, simultaneously with French, was Latin. French was the medium of instruction in schools, but Latin was the medium of instruction in two universities. That is, University of Oxford and University of Cambridge, which were founded in England during the Middle English period. Because of the strong French and Latin atmosphere, English was used particularly during the first 300 years of the Middle English period, only by the poor and the downtrodden, by the illiterate and the semi-illiterate peasants living in villages, and by those who had no direct access to the corridors of power in England. As in Old English language, we discussed that Old English was a synthetic language. It was during the Middle English period the English language shed its inflections and acquired the character of an analytic language. The Middle English period is a period of great importance in the history of English language, because it was in this period that the English language had to pass through a process of such a basic change. As we discussed earlier in this video, that we will be studying this period under two headings, and we discussed about the first heading in this particular video, that is the factors which were responsible for the dominance of French and the neglect of English language until the end of the 13th century. In the next video, we will be discussing about the second heading, that is the revival of English language in the second half of the Middle English period. Till then, do read the text, go through the video, and then we will be moving on to the second part of the introduction to Middle English period. Thank you.